exercises will help you activate your abdominals, getting the connection into your lower abdominals, and also with the TheraBand, thereafter we're going to focus on hip stability, including your core connection. Going to lie down with the hips in a neutral pelvic position. Feet are hip width apart, just to get your alignment right, and from there our neutral pelvis. So just to recap, neutral pelvis, we want our pubic bone here below in line with our hips. And an easy way to just get that is to place your hand down onto the lower abdominals, your heel of your hand onto your hip, and your fingers are pressing down on your pubic bone. So if that is level, that is for you your neutral pelvic position. You might feel that there's an arch in the back. That is fine, but you do need to stabilize it by pressing your ribcage down towards your mat, keeping that connection with your lower abdominals. And then we're going to lift one leg at a time to help stabilize. So once you've lifted, you're reconnecting because there's a bigger load coming towards you. Feet and knees together. Place the ball against the thighs, and you're just holding the ball lightly onto your thighs and squeezing down just a little bit. You don't need any tension between your shoulders and your neck. You're going to tighten the abdominals more, and you can also squeeze your glutes here. And you're pressing lightly down into your ball, and then very slowly extend the right leg, draw the leg back in, and over to the other leg. What is important is holding your abdominal connection. Keep squeezing down into your mat. It is a slow movement, and if you feel the load of your leg extending away from you is too much to control, you can just start one leg at a time. So you're just going to have a small bend in your knee, so you don't have to fully extend the leg. Keep pressing down with your hands into the ball and working from left to right until you're up to 10 on each side. So count to 20 on here and then bring the knees in. If during that time you felt the hip flexors activating at any point, you know that your lower abdominals weren't really in it, or your extension of your leg was a little bit too far for the load that your abdominals can control. Then you make the movement smaller. For the next movement, we're going to again press into the ball. Lift head and shoulders up. Exhale. Inhale down. You're still pressing down with the ball into the thighs. You can also squeeze the feet together. And what is important is that you're not tilting your pelvis. You keep the same pelvic alignment. If you do feel the neck, you can leave this completely out. If you're not working from your abdominals, then leave this movement out. Just work with what's comfortable, a comfortable connection, let's call it that. Bring the knees into the chest again. For the next setup, again, you want to make sure that your lower back never gets involved in any of these movements. Otherwise, bring the knees closer to the chest, neutral position, and we're going to hold here. Then bring the elbows towards the ball, which means you need to curl up. Hold your hands next to your head. Keep the ball connected to your thighs. Open up. And reconnect the elbow. Open up, reconnect the elbow. Exhale, inhale. Keep the movement flowing. If you need to draw the knees closer because the hip flexors or the lower back is really straining through this, you can always adjust to feel it into the core. And center and release. So you're trying to work your way up to 10 on each side. If you start with 5 each side, before you start to fatigue, that is perfectly fine. Work with the strength that you currently have, and each time try and go a little bit further. The next movement is just building on the previous two. As you open up, you're going to extend the opposite leg, coordinate, and extend the other side. So moving opposite, together, opposite, together. And then coming down. Again, work your way up to 10 on each side, which will mean you count to 20 and then you've done 10 on each side. And then just work again from the core. You don't want to feel the hip flexors involving, low back strain. So those are the areas that you're going to focus on not adding tension to. If that's happening and your core is really tight, it just means your body has reached its limit for the exercise. So now we're going to move on to our band. Holding the band is very important, just so that we're not straining into the wrists. You want the short end of your band to pop out by your thumb. Then place the upper arms down onto your mat. And again, you're still keeping a connection with your ribs down into your mat, into the floor, neutral pelvis, and core connection. Don't forget your pelvic floor, and also squeeze your glutes. So you want to activate the glute in this movement as well. So as you're stabilizing with the arms, remember your legs are hip width apart. You have a slight rotation on the foot so that the toes are just a little bit out. And that also means that your knee is going to point more towards your shoulder than towards your chin. Hold the arms stable, and we're going to slowly push into the band on the exhalation. And as you inhale, bring the knee back in and push out and in. It's a very slow movement, don't rush it. Feel your right glute tightening, pushing down, and resist on the way back in. So you're moving out with resistance as well as in with resistance. Still squeezing the rib cage down, connect to the core. What you'll find is you may very likely press more on your left foot. Try to avoid that and make the core work in this position. Again, try and work your way up to 10 movements and then switch to the other side. Again, stabilize your arms, connect the core, exhale, inhale. So press into the resistance, bend towards your shoulder more than to your chin. Squeeze out into the band, resist to center, squeeze the rib cage down. Another adjustment you can make, so if you have a very tight chest and you feel that you have a lot of tension in your neck, get something to place under your head to lift it a little bit. That'll ease up the tension in your neck and chest a bit, so you can focus into the core, into your leg, and really get the glute to activate when you push out. So once you are done with 10 or whichever number you comfortably can work into, you change sides again. Stability in the hips, same alignment, extend the leg. We're going to keep the leg straight, the pelvis in neutral, and we're going to lift the leg up and down. So the range that you work in is wherever you can keep your leg straight and your pelvis in a neutral position. So if your knee starts to bend, that's where you going to stop. Don't go any higher. So if you feel it happens there, don't go that high, keep the leg straight. If you feel your leg is straight but you are doing this with your pelvis, that's also going into the wrong position. So hold a neutral pelvis, a straight leg, and just look into that range. Don't force anything, just flow down and up. And again, working up to 10, changing sides. So first, if you feel your leg is extremely tight, just hold the stretch a little bit, and then check your alignment. Neutral spine, and flexed foot, straight leg. And again, you don't want to add any extra weight on the foot that's on the mat. Moving slowly up and down. And remember, you're trying to involve your entire leg. As you pull down, you're still using the glute as well. Lower abdominal, pelvic floor. Keeping the arms stable. And again, the range is just where you can keep neutral pelvis and a straight leg. Once you get to 10 or whichever other number, just keep it even, that's important. So we're changing sides each time, but if you are strong enough to not give one side a rest, you can do the sequence all on one side and then swap. We're going to have a slight external rotation. It just means that you're turning the toes a bit more out. Hold the legs straight, and if you had to measure, you want your knees to be at the same height. So you'll see it's a knee-to-knee position, but there's still a gap between your legs. From this point, you're going to stabilize the arm again. The hips are the focus, and then as you circle, you're keeping the movement slow, because if you don't have the stability to back it up, you'll feel that your hips are rolling as you're doing the circle. And again, work your way up to 10 circles. You can start with 5 and then work your way up. No rushing in the movement. If your hips are rolling, you're going too fast, you've lost stability, still squeeze your glute. And when you hit 10, reverse the rotation. If you decided on 8, then stop at 8 and reverse the rotation. Keep the leg extended, straight and activated. You don't want to bend the knee. You also don't want to move through your hips, your core and pelvic floor, your glutes. Everything helps the connection, the stability, very much a leg, glute, hip movement, but the core is very active. Once you hit your number, even circles on both rotations, then you're going to swap sides. So always be slower with your movements on the circles. When you're ready, stability in the pelvis, through your pelvic floor, your core connection. And also, you might feel that the hips stay stable on the rotation, but you might have the other leg moving as well. That's also something that you're going to try and avoid. Inhale for one circle, exhale for the next. And then once you get to your number that you've settled on, again, even on the left, even on the right. You don't want to do 8 circles on one side and then do 6 on the other. Kick through the heel, that will also help you connect into the glute, into your leg. You're stretching, keeping it straight, and then bending again. So to give the length or the stretch in the lower back, bring the knees towards the shoulders. And whenever you release the legs back down, do one leg at a time. Most of us do have some instability, weakness in the lower back, and especially if you have any major instabilities or weaknesses in the lower back, one leg at a time will definitely serve you well. So you don't want to activate more problems in the back. And then if it's easy for you to roll to the side and get up, then do it that way. If there's any more exercises you require, let me know. Have a fantastic day.